And I'll start by reading Praise Song for the Day. When I was asked by President Obama, President-elect at the time Obama, to write a poem for his inaugural, I wrote very much to the moment, hoping that I was writing something that would be enduring, but writing at a moment into which so much was encompassed, into which so much hope was funneled. And I like to read it every now and again. I don't read it very often at all anymore, but to see how it lives in different places. And I realize that I still believe and hope for what I said. Praise Song for the Day. Each day we go about our business, walking past each other, catching each other's eyes or not, about to speak or speaking. All about us is noise. All about us is noise and bramble, thorn and din, each one of our ancestors on our tongues. Someone is stitching up a hem, darning a hole in a uniform, patching a tire, repairing the things in need of repair. Someone is trying to make music somewhere with a pair of wooden spoons on an oil drum, with cello, boombox, harmonica, voice. A woman and her son wait for the bus. A farmer considers the changing sky. A teacher says, "Take out your pencils, begin." We encounter each other in words, words spiny or smooth, whispered or declaimed, words to consider, reconsider. We cross dirt roads and highways that mark the will of someone and then others who said, "I need to see what's on the other side. I know there's something better down the road. We need to find a place where we are safe. We walk into that which we cannot yet see. Say it plain that many have died for this day. Sing the names of the dead who brought us here, who laid the train tracks, raised the bridges, picked the cotton and the lettuce, built brick by brick the glittering edifices they would then keep clean and work inside of. Praise song for struggle, praise song for the day. Praise song for every hand-lettered sign, the figuring it out at kitchen tables. Some live by love thy neighbor as thyself. Others by first do no harm or take no more than you need. What if the mightiest word is love? Love beyond marital, filial, national. Love that casts a widening pool of light. Love with no need to preempt grievance. In today's sharp sparkle, this winter air, anything can be made, any sentence begun. On the brim, on the brink, on the cusp. Praise song for walking forward in that light.
You know, one of the questions that you ask, and you asked it to the audience tonight, is, do you see why I love him? Can you see why I miss him? And I've felt as a reader, ever since I first read the memoir, absolutely, absolutely I see. And I think that one of the triumphs of the memoir is that you make me, as a person who never knew Freak Ray, regret that I never knew him, feel like that's a loss. I also feel like you struggle in the memoir, and you gave the audience a sense of that as well. Do I start here? Do I start with the birth? Both of our mothers were pregnant at the same time. Do I start with the horrible day on which he died? Where do I start? And I would like to ask you to go back and start at that meeting when your innards turned, and tell everybody a little bit more about that meeting, because you have to have had one of the most romantic meetings I've ever read.
Well, it was, and I'll answer all of those wonderful pieces. And maybe first with the challenge of writing a character, you know, writing a character who would be believable and compelling to other people. Many people have said to me how much they loved him. But yet, of course, the big danger, what I didn't want to do is like, you know, oh, my husband, he's so cute, he's so smart, he cooks good. You know, I mean, like, you can't, that's not interesting at all. So how to really write that. And I had an interesting conversation. We were speaking about the Brooklyn Book Festival with Mark Doty, the great poet and great memoirist. And I think his book, Heaven's Gate, about losing his partner to AIDS is really one of the great memoirs of widowhood. And so he said, well, in the writing, don't you fall in love all over again? And that's in a way almost necessary to what it means to be able to write it so well that other people can feel it. That where to begin, and to the final part of your question, you know, it really was, I didn't read the part where I talk about, you know, having made a number of romantic missteps.
Oh, no.
But of course, you know, I was a grown-up woman and I had made a number of romantic missteps, which I think is important to say because we do, and because it's part of living, and it is part of the way by which you know if someone is for you. Romance starts in all sorts of different ways, but I know for me, certainly, the ease and immediacy that was not just about, you know, I mean, I would think that a guy was cute every hour, but it wasn't that. This was something profounder, and I knew how to recognize it because I knew how to distinguish it comparatively from other things, and then trust it and believe in it and then invest in it. And so luckily, he was at a point in his life as well where what we both wanted to do was come together and make family. So there were not those contrasts, though there were logistics about living halfway across the country from each other that we simply figured out. And
you kind of got picked up in a cafe.
I kind of did. I knew a little bit about him. He and his brothers, but he has always been a painter, but he also was a great chef. And he and his brothers had a wonderful restaurant, Cafe Adulis, that was a beautiful, legendary place in New Haven for many, many years.